Okay, so I'm going to again try to show a kind of tutorial on the new menus. And they've changed a little bit, especially the look of them. And there's iOS and macOS, and they're pretty much the same. macOS isn't really being updated as macOS anymore, so it's pretty much going to just match the iOS at the moment. But so the menus are pretty much the same on each. However, the way you interact with friend is a little bit different. So if you tap a friend, or if you tap your emote menu, you get your emote menu along the right hand side now. Remember what my emote menu is. And this is what it looks like. And so all of your spells, everything is up here, your emotes, and this is your other, your spells and your hide and seek. Nope, hide and seek has moved. Oh, it's right here. And then your flame, high candle. So they're pretty much in the same order, just vertically rather than horizontally. Your stances and your calls. And the Mac is a little funky because the menus don't scroll all the way like they should. And so this is the opening of Prairie, and it now has your closet, which is kind of cool, just like it used to. There's your return to home space gateway. And this looks like a stage over here, which is kind of neat. And then almost all the levels now have chat benches in the beginning area. Every single level, except Wasteland, has a little entry area now. A little entry. So I guess every single, meaning prairie, forest, and mountains have a little entry area. And whether they're going to bring that to every level, I don't know. It'd be kind of neat. Which would only be Wasteland and Vault. Vault, of course, has its entry hallway, which has changed a little bit. But I like these. This is bringing back the old Prairie Hub that we used to have way back in the beginning of the beta. So the menus are a little bit different. The gear menu has moved to the top right corner on iOS, and to get to it on macOS, you hit the Shift key, and then you have access to your cursor, and then you can tap it. So it's tapping, and obviously on iOS you have a few other options because you have controls. That's still unavailable. Oops, that closed. This just X's out of the thing. You have your cart, which of course is not functional right now. Taking a screen capture is only on iOS. The report a bug is on Mac and iOS. Then this is a scan friend invite on both. And then this is your controls on iOS. Obviously you have no control scheme on Mac OS. I use a controller personally, SteelSeries Nimbus. I love it for Mac. Otherwise you're on the keyboard. And then of course on the control scheme you have one-handed and two-handed. And what it's telling you, the hint on how to use it is wrong for one-handed. One-handed is just tapping and holding, and you just tell your character where to go using your fingers. Two-handed actually splits the screen. And on two-handed, oops, I don't want to do that. On two-handed, you actually need to use the little button down at the bottom right corner is your boost to fly. You actually need to use that on two-handed because that's the only place. Otherwise, it's a different control to go out here. On one-handed, though, everything, tapping anywhere, you can move. I think you can see my little arrow that tells me where I'm moving. And then boost is just tapping and holding anywhere. Flying is a bit of a challenge right now, but flying is flicking or moving forward to fly. It's a little bit wonky right now on iOS, still being tuned. Mac OS is relatively easy. It is just moving. Now, I don't have my keyboard, a keyboard display hooked up, but W goes forward, S goes back, A, D, E brings up your remote menu, and Q calls. Obviously tap yourself to call on iOS, and you just move your finger around. And you have this little D-pad. And they also call this the hula hoop when you tap yourself, and you can make yourself move in small movements. So you can take little steps, or you can turn in circles, things like that if you just tap on yourself. And I think you need to tap on your lower half of your body now. And then if you tap and hold away from you, you just move in that direction. Okay. So back to menus. If we tap the right corner, we get kind of a preview of everything, but but the gear menu goes away. If you tap the left corner, you get your candles, you get your quest, you have your star candles, your hearts, your seasonal candles, and your regular white candles, the encounter. The bottom left is your chat, which brings up chat, so you can say hello, but nobody can hear me. And I have a keyboard. And the bottom, get out of there, the bottom right is your in-game photo and in-game screen capture, or in-game record. Obviously, Mac doesn't have that. So you hit the shift key, you get kind of what your candles, and getting so that it displays the all of your candles is a little bit funny right now because it's not showing me my seasonals. Getting it to show that is a bit convoluted. Like I said, they're not really updating chat, but no in-game screen capture or in-game record. Also, what you can see on, not so easy on Mac, but on iOS is if you tap the left corner, top left corner, you see your star count by the Kate meter, -74. And to see it on Mac, it's if you tap on something, and then you'll see the 61 there for the Mac. So then there's so many menus in this game. So then you have your friend menu. If I tap on a friend, I get you get some options here, and this has changed just a tiny bit. Now it appears you need to unlock. Yeah, you need to unlock both high five and hug before you can gift a heart. Chat is now 5 candles, and warp now costs 2 star candles, and star candles are only obtained in after storm. So it's a lot more expensive now to open warp with people. I'm on the fence about that one. So anyway, to interact with a friend, obviously, if I offer my hand, my friend accepts it. I am now in the lead. Mac, tall one, is in the lead because she offered the hand. Now if I break out of that, and if I just want to take Mac's hand, I can tap on Mac on my iOS and then hit the follow button. This bottom one here is the follow button. That lets me follow, and once again Mac is in the lead. And I'm going to put that up on the Mac real quick here because I have the fancy pointer. Don't go away on me. Here, right here is the follow button. It's a very important button, and you can see how the handhold appears above the head. That means that I'm going to do something different that's not in the not in the menu. So I'm going to tap that handhold, and then iOS now is in the lead. Another thing that's interesting, let go of her hand, is this arrow button on top. And that's also a select button. So then again, I can select and the handhold. And this also works for warp. So if I get rid of that and I go away on the iOS, and then the Mac OS, I can still see my friend here, and if I chirp, I can see her even better. I'm going to go ahead and tap on her, and that warp icon comes up. I'll do it again because I didn't do it quick enough. You only have a minute to do it, a few seconds to do it. And if I tap on that, I'm going to say, do I want to warp to this friend? I say yes, and that person's in the lead. And that is a really good way if you ever want to join a group that you're having trouble joining and you have warp with somebody in the group. Just move away enough so that you see the warp prompt, and then just warp to them, and then you'll join the group. And that's when there's a handhold issues, can be kind of funny. So that's kind of how to do that. Of course, you also have the other actions, which are high five. It's kind of funny with a little person because, you know, we're little. Hug. And then I don't have chat with myself or anything like that. Another thing about the menus, I'm going to do this on the Mac, is if I select here, okay, we have follow, we have favorite and unfavorite. Oh no! Oh, then it wants me to do notifications. I really don't want to do that. So unfavorite and favorite. Oh, see, when you favorite a friend, you get allow notifications from friends, which will give you whenever they're online and whenever they send you blessings. Handhold, which offers the hand to the other person. High five, hug, chat, and warp. And this is, oh, this is mute chat. So this is chat. I don't want to do that. And this is mute chat. And that's if you don't want to see that friend's chat. And it only mutes them to you, so they can still see your chat. So it's a little wonky, and it can be done by accident. So if you think somebody's ignoring you, you might try to find out if they accidentally have you muted, because they may not know it. And gift, and then over here on the right, there's question. What did that bring up? Oops. Giving candles strengthens your friendships. Unlocks friendship abilities. And then this is report a player. What I find interesting about this is they have to be a friend. But of course it can happen that you friend somebody new and then they start causing problems. So this is apparently, I don't know how well it works because I've never had to use it. It's kind of new. I never even knew it was there until relatively recently. But it is useful if you do find a player that, because you know everybody has random names, so is a random player that you friend and then they start harassing you, you can report them in the game using this icon here. And that is pretty much it for the friend menu. So we got the friend menu, the emote menu, and that's about it. And I'm going to run back home here. So I'm going to show the friend menu that you see in home space as compared to that. So I go back home and go to my constellation table and select a friend. Scroll over. Mac's a little wonky. I've got edit, teleport, gift a heart, which you can do, and this is how you can gift to anybody you want to. You can't gift to them directly if you don't have high five and hug unlocked, but you can gift to them here at any time. Again, once per day. You can only gift a specific friend once per day. And then favorite, unfavorite, and then cancel friendship. Again, cancel friendship only works one way, and it only limits them giving you hearts or or wax blessings, and it removes them from your home space. But it does not cancel any other part of the friendship. So it really just removes them from your home space, and they can't give you blessings because they can't appear in your home space to give them to you. But they can't give them to you directly either, at all. And I think that does it for... this one interesting thing, I'm trying to think of anything. People appear pretty random in your constellations, but typically the people you interact with most recently, your best friends, the people that you've exchanged the most hearts with. I've seen kind of randomness in it, but generally the people I interact with the most recently or the most, have the biggest friendship with, are in this Crown constellation, which used to be the Storm constellation. So you can see my alts are there because I need to get them stuff somehow. And then Well, this is my Mac. And then, you know, other people are kind of, oh, and the icon that the star looks like is only favorite friends. Favorite friends show their mask, the mask that they were currently wearing. Other friends who are not favorite friends will show up as just a dot or a couple of dots, and I think that depends on how many candles you've exchanged, like high five and hug. So let's see if I can find somebody here. See, this one just has a regular star. This one's a favorite, so it has his mask. And I know there was somebody, maybe not on this account. Oh, I have it. Oh, and when you get a heart from somebody, it shows as a heart next to the, and you can see here, Kara sent me a heart. So you can see the heart floating there. So if I tap her, I then have to tap, I receive her blessing, but I then have to tap the heart. I collect the heart, and then of course I can send a heart back. So that was timely. And then somebody, I don't have a lot of unnamed friends on my main account because I've exchanged names with so many people. That's not going to be there. I gotta get my Mac out of the way. She's in the way. You can see this person here, maybe? Nope. Up here is a Guang Gang. Not a favorite, but apparently we've exchanged enough stuff, and I don't even recall what, that he has a little bit more of a special star. And then you have a person who I have exchanged a number of hearts with, or I have everything open with. You can see his mask is big. Matty is a little bit smaller because I haven't exchanged as much with him. I do have chat open with him. And that sort of thing. You can see a plain mask, so that's a person not wearing a mask. Peter, haven't exchanged a ton with him. I mean, I have everything open with him, but just don't see him as much. And so, you know, it just the depth or the depth of the friendship pretty much means hearts exchanged. So, you know, I can go send Peter a heart just for the heck of it, and it might make his mask bigger in my home space at some point. Well, actually, maybe he has to send them to me, but I don't need them. And there's Jeff. I don't recall I'm exchanging that many hearts with him, but he's big. So it's just, it's I'm not sure it's entirely planned. But anyway, that's the basics of it.